In motion.
Turn this up.
We are recording.
Are we? No, we're not.
Yeah.
Oh, we are recording. See, I don't like when you do that. That's like a thing. It's like, oh, here you go. Jump into the deep end. It's hot and cold.
It's like
Hello,
a thing.
everybody. Welcome to the third show. Thank you for hanging out with us. As always, the us is my brother Shannon, my big boy, my brother Smitty, and always here, even if she's not present, our little sister Beatrice, who actually we're going to touch on. I'm going to touch on the Generation Beatrice is what I'm going to call her.
Let's do it.
That's going to be something. Yes, I want to touch on Generation Beatrice.
Let's
Not
do it.
necessarily directed at Beatrice, but her generation. So today's show, people, is we just want to really go through and touch on sort of a recap of Black History Month and where we've come, where we're at, but most importantly, where we want to go. And we've had a few shows this month have been a little turbulent. We've ruffled a few feathers. We've hurt some feelings. Most importantly, though, we have brought awareness to a lot of things also. For all the criticism that we've received, we received actually more praise for what we've been doing from a lot of different areas, which is cool, which is great for us, bad for the people who hating on us. But also this show, by no means are we apologizing for anything that we said. That's not gonna happen, because we try at least to make sure that we provide you guys with the show based on facts. Every once in a while, we'll get into our opinions. Shannon getting his feelings. Smitty is
Never feelings. I don't. Wait. Hold on, bro. Hold on. I don't get in my feelings. This is never personal. This is strictly about facts and business. It ain't never personal with me.
Shannon,
if I call you out your name, it ain't that take it as a sign of me saying we need to talk, bro. That's all it is. This ain't never personal.
Moving on.
Yes, it's not personal at all.
I want to go just double down on what the good bruh Troy said about just apologizing. Again, we need to embrace who we are, airing our dirty laundry. We can't be sorry for things that happen. We can't be sorry for stating facts. We can't be sorry for putting out there what's already out there. So understand that. If we're sorry, then are we even sincere in the things we say? So you have to understand that. You know, I don't really do apologies like that, because then did you really mean what you say, or are you backing up off of it because you want to make yourself look good? So again, won't be no apologies, just strictly facts going forward. Positivity is where we're going. Understand that, but we're still going to hold you accountable. Everyone.
We will offer corrections if we say something wrong. Corrections.
We'll offer corrections, and we'll also accept accountability and ownership for what we do wrong. If we're wrong, we'll come out and admit we're wrong.
Yes.
But we're not apologizing.
But I don't think we've been wrong this month.
No, we haven't.
Nah, I think we've been pretty much on it this month.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of serious spots, because we do want to make sure our brother Shannon has brought up some great points about the things that have happened over the last, let's say, 6-7 months that have kind of gone away. And that's been a big problem in our community. We let things go. If they're no longer an issue right now, then it's not a big deal. It goes into, I did a rant one day when I had my radio show on Now What? And a lot of it was directed when a young man and we all decided to wear hoodies. We all decided to protest in circles and say how wrong things are. And this is one, and I talked to Shannon about this, and it was one thing that he doesn't get enough appreciation for at his job because he's very outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
He's ruffling feathers. He's doing things that's disrupting that status quo, but it's the now what kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you complained about something, you said it was wrong. Well, now what?
Right.
You know, and we don't want to get these last set of protests to the idea of now what, right? We don't want these things to be, we end up in June and we got another beating and now we have to start all over.
Right.
There's no point in that. You know?
So I think it's important to understand this because the word you used was outspoken. Most of the times when you say someone is outspoken, you would think that they're negative. You think they're a rebel. You think they cause problems. Again, I go back to what we was talking about before about being accountable for who we are and accepting who we are. We got to change that narrative or that thought process to think just because someone's outspoken doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them they're doing something negative. No, they're speaking the voice so we can continue the progress. And that's kind of where we're going today because to like Troy was saying, over the last 6 months, how many things have happened, but then there was energy at that time. And now we're moving in on on March 2021, and the fire's out. You know, we're almost a year, if not around that particular time, George Floyd. You know, we got Arbery coming up. Forget sister girl's name.
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor. The energy was strong at the time, but now where are we at? Like Troy said, now what? Now what? You know, and I'm going to shut up after this, but I thought it was important to share. This morning I was talking to some high school students. Awesome energy, awesome energy. I want to say this, and this is in Vacaville. I'm not going to give the high school, but this is in Vacaville. The very first question I got was from a young lady. Didn't even expect this one coming. She said, "Excuse me, sir, I have a question. How do I create policy change?" That's what this young person said. Policy change. She knew it's so much more than protesting. And I'm not knocking protesting. Protesting is awesome. We need that. But she had the wherewithal and maturity to understand. She said, "How do I do policy change?" And I told her, go to school board meetings, go to city council meetings. She said, "I can go?" And I said, "Yes, you can go." So that is a great positive movement right there that this young lady had the wherewithal. And we need to spread that to the rest of the young folks, that it's going to take policy change in order for that phrase, "now what," to go away.
Yes.
And you know what, to your point, and I'm glad you mentioned that because during this week, I was at a book discussion and somebody asked me, they actually phrased it. They said, well, we had people like Fred Hampton, Medgar Evers. These people out there and they advocated for change and they ended up dead. I'm not wanting to die, but I want to have my voice heard. I think it comes down to a point where people need to stop worrying about death and worry about the cause. If you want to be that change, then you be that change. You don't ask to be it, you just go out and do it.
No.
And whatever comes with it, comes with it.
But that, yeah, you're right. You're 100% correct. We ran into this before with people worrying about their positions, worrying about, you know, well, I can't be getting in trouble at my job because they're gonna be well, then just go away and be quiet, because that's not what's needed. You can't, you know, what is it? There's no such thing as a halfway crook.
It can't be, or you halfway shook.
You know, it has to come down to, you got to pick a struggle. Either you in this or you not. And
you know, and to Shannon's, before I forget to start, to Shannon's point, you want to live this life of longevity. But what is a life of longevity if there's no action in it and you're just sitting there going along with the flow? You know, everybody has a purpose. I don't care what color you are. Everybody has a purpose. We have a role to play. Some of us are a little bit more engaged than others, and that's fine, you know, but still it's going to take more than just us three to do something. And that's why we do these shows. That's why we're trying to promote positivity and encourage you to be engaged, to be involved, to make changes, to have a thought instead of just whining and complaining. And then we get all raged up for a month or two.
And then now what?
And now what?
And then, but to Shannon's point, the end part of that conversation, Shannon asked that person, well, what are you going to do about your kids? What kind of life, if you actually want to do something, but you're so concerned about yourself, you're not concerned about what your children or your grandchildren's lives or quality of life is going to be. Because we can sit here and say, you know, I'm going to make sure that all my stuff is cool. I don't want to threaten the life I have. But what kind of life do you have if you have to worry about when you go outside, if you have children? Is your son going to get arrested and get beaten and put in jail just because of the color of his skin?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go and apply, if you're so concerned about your job, you need to be concerned why you keep getting stepped over for somebody who don't share the same pigment.
Well, you know,
not the same education or experience, but you're getting passed out. Now, what kind of quality of life are you really living?
Check it, man. I'm so glad we went here this evening. If you're worried about struggling, if you're worried about problems, if you're worried about the repercussions that's coming back to you, if you're worried about living this long life of you know, duration, because you're so worried about your job and having this money and having these things, just look on the news. Kobe had the world. Kobe had the world. He wasn't an old man. He wasn't stricken with any life-threatening diseases. Died instantly. Look at Tiger, just 2-3 days ago, almost lost his life. These people got money, but it does not mean nothing to their impact on life.
Yes.
You can't control what's going to happen to you. So why worry about it? Yeah, I know we want to provide for our families, and that's good. That's awesome. I respect that. I applaud it and I encourage it. But at the same time, there's a bigger picture. There's things that need to happen. And we can't be so worried about what's going to come back. Like Troy said a long time ago in one of our earlier shows, all three of us have something to lose. We all have lives. We all husbands, we're parents, we're grandparents. We got a lot to lose. But what do we just sit back and do nothing and hope our grandchildren take care of the problems?
Yeah.
You know, come on.
You know what? And because I hear it all the time, and I know both of you guys hear it. Well, I can't do this or I can't do that. I'm going to put this challenge out there to everybody. This is year 2021. Make this the year of completion, that you complete one thing.
Man.
Stop asking to do something and get out there and do it.
You know what? You're right. I'm gonna give you a direct challenge within that.
Hold on. Vote. We do solutions. Now we giving challenges.
Man. Go vote. If you really want your voice to be heard, get your tail up and go vote.
No. Troy, can I take it a step further?
Please.
Go run. Go be a candidate. Go be a candidate.
No.
Yes. Go, you know, challenge yourself. I left Shannon, man, W.E.B. Du Bois. I'm telling you, challenge yourself to write a book. You know, this book doesn't have to be the Odyssey. This book doesn't have to be the Negro. What this book needs to be is your effort. And a book doesn't have to be a certain number of pages. A book can be 2 pages, all right? A book can be pictures. A book has to be you. It has to be authentic. Write it. Yes. Complete it. You know?
So everybody, y'all got 3 challenges right now.
Man.
Shannon challenged you to complete just one thing. Just complete something. I challenge you to get your tail up there and vote. Because if you really want change, and you can stop complaining about things, get up and go vote. Then you can complain about whatever you want to do. And matter of fact, let me polish it a little bit. Because in our community, it is, what is it? 75% of our community of voters is women.
Mhm.
So sisters, my minority sisters, please, thank you. Thank you. Make it a challenge. Women, if you single, ask the dude you dating if he's voting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if he's voting consistently, that means you guys are actually on the same path. You actually have something that you can actually connect on.
I think
And I'll
Simone. I think her name is Samore, the comedian.
Yes.
You know, she had a joke back in the day. You better ask bro about his credit score. Well, we could double down on that and ask him, is he a registered voter?
Are you
You
a
know what I'm
registered
saying?
voter?
And what
Because
party
that's
is
where
he
we're
running
at.
with?
Yes, because right now in this day and age, that's where we're at.
That's where we're at for real, for real.
Here's the problem, and I hear what both of you say.
Hold on, wait, one more,
No.
Shannon. Smitty has you writing a book about you. And I'm gonna tell you, because I'm gonna do that, because I like that, because what that's gonna do is have me reflect on my life. That's gonna be a reflection of, okay, am I actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I living up to my potential? Is my quality of life what I want it to be? Or am I just running around here with a job and a car, chasing tail?
Mm.
Young
folks, that's a lesson.
Yes.
It was something you said. You said people need to go and vote.
Yes, sir.
And keep in mind, a lot of people think, well, I just voted for the president. They don't understand. They don't understand that there's other elections that are getting ready to come through. But at the same time, we can't tell people to just get up and go vote, because half the people don't even know what they're voting for. I want people to have an understanding. Go out and read. You don't have to get all deep into politics, but you do need to be aware of what's taking place in your own community.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many times.
Shannon,
go ahead.
Outstanding. Yeah. And I want to comment, side note, however you want to do it, bullet point this, because I'm a hypocrite. I don't want you folks to think we're sitting up here high almighty, like we've always done this. I can't speak for Shannon and Troy, but I know for myself, I didn't really know too much about politics. I just thought it was a bunch of white folks making decisions. We had no input. There was no way for me, my voice to be heard. Over the last 2-3 years, I come to find out I was wrong. My voice can be heard. I can have a part. And like you've heard me say, I don't have to go to their table. Within the last 2 or 3 years, they've come to our table. They reached out to us. Okay. And when I say they, I don't mean this one particular person, this one particular white guy, this one particular black guy. I'm talking the establishment, the people as a group. Okay. So understand, I've never been, don't get it wrong. Like I'm this, I have this history of being involved in politics. I don't, but now that I do, I understand. Now I gotta go back in and take some folks with me and show them how to get down in this game, because it is a game. We want to teach our kids. We want to teach our kids this hustle game. We want to teach our kids this baseball game. We want to teach our kids this street game, this code, whatever it is. Let's teach them this politics game. Let's teach them this politics game, and then we ain't even got to worry about teaching them these other games. And you know what I'm saying? So again, I ain't sitting here trying to put myself on a soapbox like I'm better than anybody. But the organic nature of what we're doing now, we have a voice to the people where we can say, hey, come on and get on with us, so we can show you how to get down, and we can make some real tangible changes.
Yes.
And just to go on to what you were saying, and it also falls back on how Troy opened the show up and said we're going to talk about Beatrice's generation. This goes back because our generation, we're up there. We're getting there. We have kids, and it's to a point to where
grandkids,
these kids,
yes.
yeah, we got grandkids, and they come out more technologically advanced than we did. And this is where our generation and Beatrice's generation needs to step up to the plate, work together, because those little kids that are coming up are going to be everybody's future.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones running this country. It
Well,
won't just be,
I think I have to apologize and be transparent because I want to move this conversation so people understand what this show is about. This show is about moving forward. This show is about progress today. Where are we going? We got to put an end to the now what, So with that apology, I'm going to say that I'm apologizing for myself not understanding the importance of carrying on the fight that W.E.B. Du Bois started with the NAACP, not understanding the importance of Medgar Evers and Emmett Till, because I let that get out of my conscience, and then I witnessed it over and over again. One of my first memories is Rodney King. Now, that was the most popular, but in my neighborhood in East Oakland, I've seen other people beaten, but I just thought, oh, that's East Oakland. That's what's supposed to happen.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
That's just how it is. Had I been cognizant that this took place before and nothing was done, and I think that stems to, again, this is not a slap in the face or a disrespect to my mother and father, but I think after that civil rights movement, that particular generation right there, we got complacent, like, oh, we can vote now, we got a cool job, we can buy houses, everything's cool, when it really wasn't. We didn't move it along. So my mom working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to make sure I ate, kind of didn't really go into the history part of like, hey, this is why we live over here in the hood. This is why we can't afford this house up here. This is why I can't send you to private school. This is what happened in the 60s and 70s, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in the 50s. So again, I think to move forward, we have to recognize that Rodney King, that's Emmett Till. They're just century or decades apart, and the difference is, what I like about our last show is we recognize there's differences. We're all just trying to get to the same spot, just like those pirates we talked about. Understand this, people. Malcolm, Martin, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, they didn't really like each other. Now, granted, they was all different times a little bit, but say they overlapped, with the most famous Malcolm and Martin being coinciding together at the same time. It wasn't like they loved each other's idea.
No.
But they was moving for that particular group of people that followed them, So understand that to move forward, we're going to need different people with different ideas.
Yes.
That's how we move forward.
That's funny. I was just talking. One of the things that was when we first got on, you guys said I looked distracted, and one of the things that was put on my mind was the idea of just of what you had just said, Smitty. There's different ways to get to, what's the old saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ways to get to a resolution, to get to where we want to go. And I think it was based off, I watched our last few shows of, we're more Malcolm than we are, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of the things. So we say a lot of things, we ruffle feathers, we are about achievement by any means,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll clarify that in a moment. But undivided, you're on mute, Shannon.
I was going to tell you, you don't have to clarify that.
Well,
It's
no,
by
no,
any
people,
means necessary.
but see, that's what I'm saying. Right there, Shannon got in his feelings. That's not what I'm
I
saying.
didn't get my feelings. I didn't get my feelings.
You kind of, bro.
Look,
it was a little bit.
I hate to
Because
say
you
it, bro.
stepped out and you leaned in on it, and so
I leaned in on it, bro. I leaned in on it to let you know. I leaned in to let you know, bro.
Hold on, wait. Let me clarify by any means. We'll get to that, so you don't.
And then you can get out of the sensitive side of the nipple, okay?
No, listen to me. Now, in 2021, by any means defines what are you willing to do.
Mhm.
Because when Malcolm said that, he meant we are willing to do whatever it takes in order to get our freedom, right? Because that was the heart of that. Now, in 2021, by any means, are you willing to get up and take the challenge from Shannon and go read
Mhm.
about what you're trying to do? Are you willing to take my challenge and get up and go vote? And not just for the president. Honestly, you ain't never got to ever vote for the president a day in your life.
I agree.
But you do have to vote for your city councilman. You do have to vote for the school board. You do have to vote for your sheriff. You do have to vote for your mayor. You do have to vote for your congressman, your representative, your superintendents, your
Your district
supervisor,
attorney.
your district
vote,
attorneys,
you elect your district
judges.
attorney.
The things that affect your life on a day-to-day basis. The what is it? The micro effects, not the macros, but the micro effects on your life. Now, by any means, are you willing to do that? That's
I want to hear.
new.
I got to hear what Shannon had to say on that. By any means.
That's the new by any means. Not strap up and stand by your window with an AK.
And you know what the hell with that? I'm like this. You know what? They got guns. I'm gonna keep guns. And at
You
the
see
end
what
of the
I'm
day,
saying?
when all is said and done,
You see what I'm
the
saying?
hell
Like
with
that.
it, man. You know what? It is by any means necessary. And me saying by any means necessary means that whatever I say, I will stand on. I'll face anybody and don't fear anything. It's to a point to where we have been cowered down so long by this
Yeah.
systematic troubles of the society. We have, matter of fact, Smitty said it not too many, a couple of shows ago. When we say certain things, we give them the power,
Mhm.
and we need to stop doing that.
Mhm.
But you know
We
what? You know
constantly,
what? You're right. But there's a point in that we try to do. Because I had to really think about that. The idea of going after, because we never went after a person, we went after organizations. And we never wanted to get that understood that we're putting another organization or a person or anything else down. We're calling them to action.
Mhm.
We're challenging them. Because like Smitty says, there's more than one way to get somewhere.
Mhm.
So if we
bro,
say
and you know
something,
what? Not let me just tell you, and let me clarify and correct it. We've all said stuff, and I will say, out of all our shows, you have tried to remain peaceful. We have went after organizations.
we have.
Me personally, I have attacked certain people, other organizations. So I do own that.
Yes.
And
But at the same time, though, it was still, even though you attacked that person, it was a call to action, letting them know.
So I'm going to say this because again, like we had this conversation.
Yes.
You know, so I want to really just touch on the by any means necessary. Troy, you pointed it out as far as Malcolm standing by the window and the word by any means necessary. That's I think that the connotation has long been there to assume the rhetoric that Malcolm was speaking. They symbolized it and sensationalized him standing by the window with a gun, thinking, meaning by any means necessary means we're going to kill you.
Yes.
I think we really need to rethink that and dig deeper. And Malcolm was so much more than that. He was trying to tell Negroes, because that's the word he used, Black folks, to educate yourself. Educate yourself. That's
get
what
involved.
By any means necessary means.
And get involved. Yes.
Get involved. We are going to go. Stop letting these people pacify you. Like Shannon was saying, we've cowered down. And I think coward is such a strong word, but I think it's useful in this context. But I'm gonna go with pacify because now they see we are moving. So what do? They pacify us with welfare. Oh, we're gonna help you. get on welfare. Now you don't do nothing. Now you become complacent, right? And I'm not knocking welfare, and I'm not saying welfare is particularly black, because it's a lot of white folks that's on welfare.
There's more white folks than black folks.
But what I am trying to say is that pacification leads to complacency.
Yes.
And now the best thing that the establishment wants is they don't want feedback. They don't want interaction. They want you complacent and happy. You know,
See,
so
you know what? The worst thing that we can do is be consistent with our messaging.
correct.
That is the worst thing we can do. If we're going to say that, you know what, it's us against the establishment, if those are the lines we're going to draw, the worst thing that we can do is every week we do our show. Giving people encouragement, giving people direction, giving people that knowledge from us, which once again, as we always say, we ain't nothing but this big.
Right. Right.
But we're giving you what we have so you can take what we have and grow it. Start watering that tree. Get out there and grow your fruit. And that's what we're trying to do.
You know what?
What's that, Sparky?
Because I think the community, no, I got you, Huckleberry. Okay. I was just thinking how all three of us came together, how Undivided formed.
Yeah.
We started off strong. Then we stopped for a minute. Our lives got complicated and busy. Our lives are still complicated and busy.
Yeah. More so.
And more so. And it took certain incidents that we discussed for us to come back and start putting the shows on weekly. You know, and I'm thinking, it seems like nothing's changed. And this isn't moving forward here. Nothing's changed. Everything is still the same. It's just evolving to another plateau. Tamir Rice. Everybody was in an uproar and rage, and they should still be in that uproar and rage. But you don't hear his name no more. Trayvon Martin. You don't hear his name no more. Emmett Till, this is Black History Month. This is the only time you hear this man's name.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. We're not going to say that we hear it as trumpeted as what it should be, or his mother.
Mother.
Because the story behind his mother leaving that casket open is probably one of the most powerful things we could ever hear.
Medgar Evers.
Medgar Evers.
Please.
You know?
You know, and we don't hear their names. Malcolm X, we hear.
Yeah. Malcolm,
Dr.
we hear.
King,
Dr. King, we hear. Yeah.
We hear.
So I think it's important because I think both of you are saying the same thing, the consistency part, you know? So if you look, Troy, that's the worst thing we can do is be consistent on anything. And when I say that's the worst thing we can do, that's what they want us to do, is not be consistent. So if you look at Malcolm would have been nobody, but he was consistent. Look at Martin, Ralph Abernathy, Jesse Jackson would have been nothing, but they was consistent. You know, look at Huey P. Newton would have been nothing but a nigga from Oakland, but his consistency and then his commitment to what he stood for, that was the problem.
Yes.
That was the problem. So again, like Troy said, we're very small in this movement. We're very small, but the audience that we have, they know we're consistent. They know we're committed. So in our little circle, we get buzzbacks. Now, of course, we don't have the FBI trying to infiltrate us like Malcolm and Martin, but we still have some individual flies on the wall trying to come in and smell the shit. You see what I'm saying? So, but we're going to continue to be consistent and committed because that's what we do. So be consistent.
It's a matter of having See, when you go back to Malcolm, Martin, even the beginning of the Black Panther Party, they had a tangible cause. And I think part of our problem is in this day and age, people don't think we have a tangible cause. They think, well, we're living right, we're doing okay. Hey, I just bought my house. My buddy just bought a brand new car and this and this. So, our kids are going to school, but we're only getting so much. We're only getting what we're being comfortable to be quiet with.
Absolutely.
We're not getting what we deserve or what we can achieve. We're getting just enough. Because right now, you think about it, we have ball players, we have athletes who are making millions upon millions of dollars. There's a whole thing of how Dak Prescott is getting mad over $3 million because he wants to make closer to 40 than he is to 25. And the bigger picture of that is, well, what you gonna do with it?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do with it? I understand that you black and white, but that black side of you has to have some sort of responsibility. There's certain things that certain athletes, like LeBron, I've never been a huge fan, and still he started to be community committed.
I agree with you 1,000% on that.
Then I became a fan of LeBron.
Absolutely.
Because other than that, he was just another dude with a ball.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
you want to steer
value.
things up. You want to shake things up. You want to shake the establishment up and really see change. Again, it's I can see where it's difficult for the normal folks like us. I can't speak for you guys, but in my regular life, me and my wife, we're not well-to-do. We're okay, but we're just maybe one or two checks from not being okay. God forbid something happens. But we could make a change if those folks who have been blessed, have been fortunate enough to make those millions, because LeBron, Serena, Jordan, all of these folks, Tiger, and I'm just saying them, naming them because they're the most popular, but there's many other millionaire black folks, believe that.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to, they could start to change the way this nation is looked upon. Because let LeBron, AD, KD, Chris Paul, Curry, let them all get up and leave the NBA and go start their own league. The NBA is going to fold. The NBA is going to fold. I guarantee that.
Yes.
The same goes now. Now all the marketing goes through them. They control the marketing, right? You shouldn't see a Crown Royal commercial. You shouldn't see a Hennessy commercial. You see commercials that's run by black folks. You'll start to see the change in this nation and how it's ran. I guarantee you that.
Facts. I have to 100% agree with that. All right. We're moving pretty well.
What's up, Shannon, man? You doing fact checking still?
What you doing?
I wasn't fact checking, man. I'm just thinking about how many people that we've actually lost throughout the years. I'm thinking about everything that I've experienced this week, things I've seen, things I've heard. And I think the one thing I said, and I think everybody needs to pay attention to it, is self-reflection.
Yeah.
This new word that I'm so sick of hearing right now, and it's the new thing, this equity thing. I've been in so many meetings that revolve around equity, and the people who are discussing it, the people who are discussing equity are the ones who aren't equitable.
Yes.
And then what really gets me is that they're trying to figure out how to put a dollar value
on equity,
on what's morally right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you something real quick.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Because you know what that equates to? And please correct me if I'm wrong. But does that sound like, how much is that buck worth?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it sound like that? How much is that buck worth? You know what? I'll give you 25 for him.
Negro sale this weekend.
That's what it sounds like. Because
You know?
Shannon, remember when we was talking about that, and they were like, how do we fix equity? Well, stop doing it. Do the opposite.
Right.
It's not hard. If there's
And
unfair hiring practices, start hiring more minorities. There's a ton of them for every position that are qualified. So you can't tell me that, well, we don't get qualified. I think it was Vacaville who said, well, we don't get a lot of minorities, you know, for these teaching jobs, applying for these teaching jobs. Don't lie to yourself.
Right.
Just don't.
You know what? That's so funny that you mentioned that, because, well, we can't get minorities here. Well, it's the image of the city. Everybody
Facts.
knows about Vacaville.
Yes.
And honestly, if you Black, you ain't bringing your butt here, especially not at night.
Yeah.
You worried about what's going to happen with you from Vacaville PD.
You know,
yes, it's a worry to get to the freeway.
I think equity is a check mark or check box for the folks that's in control to say, oh, we're talking about it. You know, because what Troy just said, you don't have to talk about it. Just stop doing what you're doing.
What you're doing, listen.
And another thing is, this is where I really have a problem with equity. Moving forward, until, if you take a ride out here, English Hills Road, Tim Road, back roads of Vacaville, back roads of Fairfield, back roads of Vallejo, back roads of Kentucky, Green Valley, Kentucky, wherever. There's acres of lands that white folks own, which they stole. They passed down through generations. Those folks didn't have to earn anything. We can never be equitable until we have that opportunity.
Yes.
Then what the problem there lies when it comes to equity and progression and moving forward. You stole that land. Now, granted, I'm not talking about you, white person that's listening right now. I'm not saying you, but white folks stole that land, and now they attempt say, oh, we own it. And so we can now sell it at an exorbitant amount of money that you'll never be able to afford. So real quick, financial 101. Here in Solano County, the loan that you can get if it's husband and wife, I think the limit is $504,000. $504,000, and you better have a good down payment. I'm talking about $30,000 or $40,000 down payment cash. Though that land, they start at $700,000, $800,000. You will never be able to afford that. That's not equity. That's not equity. You know, so we have to understand, when we talk about equity, it's so much more than hiring a Black person. Yes. It's about if you're already ahead of the game with all this damn land that you stole, and we can't get the land for free, now we have to pay for it. But the only way to get that is some money we will never obtain in our lifetime. We're never going to have equity. That's how deep that is.
But and that's why I say, and this is why I say, you know, matter of fact, to those, and I appreciate everybody who actually looked at the post that I posted this week on our page. James Baldwin, he said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And it's so true when you look at it. You want this land out there, there's ways about going about getting it. Whether you do it the legal way or illegal way, it's just about doing it. Yes. So moving forward, don't sit up here and go ask. Just get up and do. If you see something, you know, the only way you're ever going to see something get done is by taking that action yourself, taking the steps necessary, going through all the procedures to get where you need to be at.
Yes, because to expand on both of those, we're at a point in time right now where we can actually achieve certain things. We can actually achieve certain things. Whatever it is that's out there in the world, a minority can go get it. Is it going to be harder? Mm-hmm. Are we going to come up against way more roadblocks than what we need to be? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Because to your point, Smitty, things were stolen. And then once the way they were stolen, there were safeguards put in place to make sure that they won't have to give them back. Period. Point blank. Because redlining is a thing. Is, I didn't say was, is a thing. Because it still happens. Because there's countless things where people go to buy a house and this person of color gets one rate, but this other person who doesn't have the same qualifications gets a lower rate. Doesn't have to come up with the same down payment. Hold on, let me just finish this one off. If we want it, don't be discouraged by the obstacles that you have to overcome. Don't do that. Because once again, your inconsistencies, your lack of perseverance is what they want, is what makes sure they don't have to give anything back.
And stop giving them that power. Yes, stop giving them that power.
Yes, stop giving them that power. You're inconsistent. Every time you think you can't do something, somebody wins.
Right.
And you know
and
what?
that's facts.
And laugh, and then they laugh. They win and they laugh.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, and me and you, we spoke about this, Troy. We constantly hear, and this is that generation again, that generational difference. I'm from this hood. I'm from that hood. That becomes a problem when you start talking about you from the hood. You're not contributing to the damn hood. And I think where we got lost at is we're calling it the hood. It's a neighborhood. We need to put that neighbor back in that word hood.
Yes. And stop calling it the hood as if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because this is the one thing that I have found. Anybody who lives in a quote unquote hood, I guarantee you can question all of them. 90% of them don't want to be there. So miss me about pumping up your hood because 90% of them don't want to be there. 90% of them people want that hood to change or want to live in the suburbs.
And I want to say this about the hood. You know, what has the hood done for you is my answer, or is my question. You know, I am from the hood. It didn't do nothing for me.
Nope.
I had to change a lot of my thought processes in order.
Hold on, wait. I think you're wrong. The hood did do a lot for you. It did do a lot. It showed you a lot of what you don't want to be. It showed you where you don't want your kids to be.
Right.
It showed you a lot. It made you, the hood actually will make you into the man who you want to be.
Let me rephrase that because I agree with you.
Thank you. You see what I'm saying?
The hood gave me character. Okay.
Yes.
And then what I took from that, I had to mold my own self after really recognizing who I was. You know, but what I want to touch on about this hood, you know, the hood, what has it done for you? And when I say that,
yes.
I mean, what has it given you? What, you know, financially, what support has it given you? Mm-hmm. Now, with that, you know, that's a tricky question to answer, because if we're keeping it 1,000, a lot of the liquor stores in the hood or in little mom and pop stores was run by Black folks until gentrification came. And now we have Asians and Hindus and other minorities moving in, and they're taking that business from Black folks. So again, I'm always careful about this hood. And the one thing I'm gonna say like that is, I love, because I think we had this conversation offline, was if you're from the hood, you don't need to announce you're from the hood. Other cats that's from the hood are gonna know that.
Know where you're from.
Yeah, if you're out there yelling, "I'm from the hood," you're probably not.
You ain't from the hood.
You probably live 10 blocks from the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
You
you
grew
know
up
what?
hood adjacent.
Right. And you know what, Smitty? Here's my question that I would ask somebody to pose. When we ask, what did the hood do for us? What did we give back to that hood? And if
There you
we're
go.
out, if we're not, here's the thing I think we're missing. That generational gap there.
Mhm.
Our parents' were raised there, and a lot of them are still there.
Mhm.
While we go on, they're still living in them conditions. What are we doing to repair that and give back?
You know what?
Them are our ancestors.
And them elder folks that's 60, 70, and 80 right now who refuse to leave the hood, those are the soldiers. They are
Yes.
staying there. They're committed. They're consistent. We bought this house brand new. We're staying here, no matter how bad it gets.
Yes.
You know, because that's the mentality that we got away from. You know, this is
that
ours.
shows that's strength.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
strength. Forget who you think you are, Nook Nook.
Right.
Go ahead and talk to Miss Pearlie and her husband Earl, who've been there since '63,
Mhm.
who had to fight so many different things just to buy that house.
So understand this hood. Man, Shannon, thank you for bringing that up. There wasn't hoods. There wasn't hoods. They were plantations. Let's start there. That's the original hood. It was a plantation. You were segregated to there. That's where you
Yes.
stayed. That was your hood. Now we get out of that and we go into Reconstruction and Jim Crow. And now we're still relegated to this particular parts of towns. Those were our hoods. Then we get out of there, the Great Migration, and we go east and north and west, and we settle in these particular parts of towns, and that's where they keep us. That's where they segregate us. Those were the hoods. Those hoods weren't bad. When there was plantation action, again, I'm not promoting slavery. I'm just saying we wasn't fighting one another. Then once we started migrating and getting into the big cities, watch Snowfall. That's one of my favorite flicks on TV right now. Watch Snowfall. Watch who created this horrible hood. Watch who put these drugs in the hood. Watch who dismantle our hood. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Now we sensationalize a certain culture of rap, of music, and now we tie that into drugs and guns and violence. And that perpetuates and demonizes this hood. That's not the hood we're talking about.
No. Would you say, Shannon? We were talking the other day. Would you say that we need to go back to, what was it, 73?
Yeah, back in the 70s.
Back to the 70s, when if you got in trouble, your neighbor was usually get a whooping from your neighbor, then get sent home to wait for your mama and daddy to get home so you can catch another one.
Yep.
But it wasn't just about the whooping. What it taught us was accountability.
My teachers at Stonehurst Elementary lived in my neighborhood.
Oh.
You wasn't getting away with nothing. They didn't teach at Stonehurst and then drive to Emeryville or Danville or San Jose. They lived in East Oakland. Everybody knew one another. Now you know what? Now you got teachers who can't afford to live in the inner city in Oakland and Richmond and San Francisco and Chicago and Houston and these places. So now they got to travel outside of their area. And now we lose that connection. Now we lose that connection because they don't even know our parents. That's equity. You want to talk equity? They don't know what, no,
it's not just that they don't know our parents, they don't know our struggle.
No.
They don't know us.
And they don't know us. In a good time. We grew up in a good generation. And the reason I can say that, we know what it's like to have a big mama. We know what it's like, you know.
And if there's one big mama on the block, that's everybody's big mama.
That's everybody. That's the block. That's the neighborhood big mama. If you don't have your own,
you ain't black. You ain't black if you ain't had a big mama.
Let me show you this before we get off here. I lived in East Oakland. On my block, I lived on Hunter Avenue in East Oakland, right off 98. On my block, we had one big mama. We had a dope house 2 houses down, and we had Nazi racist Germans lived 3 or 4 houses down. They had Rottweilers and Doberman Pinschers. They stayed in their spot. We never had one problem out of them. The cops was never called. We never had any racist turmoil on that block. Again, I'm not promoting the dope house down the street. I'm not promoting the Nazis that live down the street. I just want to let you know, that's the block I grew up on. Everybody respected Big Mama and what she had to say. So
Yes.
difference.
And so moving forward, we're always going to be undivided and remain undivided. We're always going to spit facts, solutions. This being Black History Month, the last Friday, I did speak with my brothers. I wanted to share a video with you guys just so we don't forget. So
yes. And then after the video, we're gonna take a few minutes and we're running a little long tonight. Thank y'all for hanging out with us to the end. But we're gonna focus on the now what's, because this is a reflection on what has happened.
Just gotta get some things off my chest. Tough times, I hope y'all holding up. We gon' be alright, cause we always is. But I'm feeling like this.
How many mothers have to cry? How many brothers gotta die? How many more times? How many more times? How many more marches? How many more signs? How many more lives? How many more times? Take a look around. Can you see it now? Don't be colorblind, cause when they're killing mine, they'll try to justify it. Oh, each and every time. Playing in the park, taking you a jog, sitting on the couch, in your own house. Never seem to matter what we do. You think we don't matter, but we do. You got a problem cause the city on fire, but you quiet when niggas die. Let the soul about that body that we buried. You were God, now you no longer have to worry. It's so hard to sing these words out loud. All these beautiful, precious black lives, lost in the name of senseless white pride. Tears falling from us. How many mothers have to cry? How many brothers gotta die? How many more times? How many more times? How many more marches? How many more signs? How many more lives? How many more times? Tell me, how can you be quiet? You know the language of the unheard is a riot. All we ever see from you is violence. You know you ain't no better if you silent. You talking about the city on fire, where your rage when my people die. We ain't slaves, let my people fly. Now it's time, watch my people rise. How many mothers have to cry? How many brothers gotta die? How many more times? How many more times? How many more marches? How many more signs? How many more lives? How many more times? How many mothers have to cry? Tell me. How many brothers gotta die? Tell me. How many more times? Oh Lord. How many more times? How many more lives? Shame I gotta ask. How many more times? I'll leave you with that.
People, I just want to say, you know, can we all get along? Can we get along? Can we stop making making it horrible for the older people and the kids.
Okay. I'm gonna say something and whatever. So when Rodney King got beat up, that was some of the best Black comedy I've ever heard. First of all, because everybody made fun of him, especially for that last part of can we all just get along? And the problem I have with that now, that is the idea of who paid you to talk during the riots? Why do we need to get along when you just got stomped on? The problem was you're saying that it was okay for you to get stomped on. My problem is the riots were necessary because we're trying to tell you people, and you're not listening, that this is not okay anymore. But we fell off because Rodney King came out there and said, hey, can't we all just get along? So the victim was no longer yelling. I think one of the things that we need to understand now, we are the victim. All of us. If you're a minority in this country, you're a victim. It's just what kind of victim are you going to be? Are you going to
say this? And good bro, Troy, I know you mentioned we got to get out of here. We held the people long enough, but I think that's phenomenal. And I want to say this, like I started this to show off. When you apologize, did you even mean it? What you said earlier, we needed those riots. We needed those riots, and the city of Los Angeles knew what they was doing by putting that man out there to make him calm the savage beasts. Basically he was apologizing for getting his ass kicked by racist law enforcement people. Understand that, all right? And now, because he apologized, it's continuing. It's continuing, and we see it again and again. I'm gonna close with this so we can get out of here. This is my solution to you folks. Attend city council meetings. Attend the city council meeting and voice your concern, whatever your concern is. Is it the pothole that's in front of your street? Is it there should be a stoplight at the corner? I don't care what it is. The only way things change is if you voice your damn opinion. Go to a city council meeting or attend one via Zoom if you don't want to be in person.
And my solution, and the complete answer, instead of talking about what you want to do, just get up and do it.
Go do it. That's good. My solution, and then we'll close out. And it piggybacks on what both these brothers are saying, and it's a consistent thing with us. Get involved. Get involved. Be an outspoken voice, be whatever, be a mentor, be active in your community, be active at your church, whatever it is, get involved. These things cannot continue. If you want change, be a part of the change, or just shut up. Because if you're just out here, you're not helping anybody. If you want change, you have to be a part of it. Thank you all for hanging out with us on the long extended February.
The LP version, baby. You old cats know that's the LP version.
That's it, yes. That was Knee Deep, the LP version.
Yes,
is what y'all just got today. Just let y'all know. Yes, for the y'all who know what we're talking about. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Thank you, my brother Shannon, as always, my brother Smitty. Thank you, Sister Beatrice. Thank you. We'll be back next week. So, thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure you like us on YouTube and like our Facebook page so we can get out there. We can spread the word. Send it to your people back east. Get it everywhere. Thank y'all.